Yeah, we definitely have a very powerful system that's taking shape over the plains. A lot of fire issues to the west of the plains too, given the strong winds. Thunderstorm potential tonight. Snow and wind further north. Right now, we're going to be on the rain and wind side. And right now, I've overlaid not the temperatures. This is the relative humidity. You see, it's still fairly low, and that's why a lot of this is not reaching the ground quite yet. We need to get those 70 and 80% out there to really start seeing some of this activity. But over time tonight, it is going to develop, and with more as this low pressure begins to push further to the east too, into Minnesota, eventually southwestern Minnesota too. So overall, there's your wind speeds right now. This is all coming out of the east southeast ahead of it. You can see some speeds too, pretty impressive as you go further to the west. So it's been quite breezy. This will continue tonight, but then we're going to start turning things around. Here's a low pressure. This one is very strong right now, deepening over the area, and you see quite a bit of activity too. So that's going to be approaching, lifting to the northeast through the area through tonight, with a frontal passage probably towards tomorrow morning or later tonight for most areas. So if we kind of time this out, precipitation eventually starts forming a little bit of a line, and most of this is going to be probably along and north of I-94. All rain, but you know it's later in the night, around 10 to 11 p.m. Additional showers develop. Maybe even thunderstorms too with this. You can see some of this yellow 3D look here indicating you could see some thunderstorm potential with this line coming through after midnight. Once we get it past 2 or 3, you can see most of the activity is done with for the morning commute. It should be dry with clearing skies as the winds begin to turn around to the west. The only exception for the morning commute would be north of Eau Claire, probably to Rusk County. You'll still have that precipitation going on for a few hours, but then it'll be ending. That's where most of the rainfall will occur, up to a ½ inch or more. Far less and spotty. If you get one of those thunderstorms developing, you might get over a quarter, but as you go further south and west of I-90, it's fairly light precipitation, if not much at all. So it really depends on where you are tonight to see the heavier amounts of rain. Now tomorrow, clear skies briefly for the area to the south of I-90. This is when the wind will start picking up out of the west, very quite strong across southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. We're going to see wraparound moisture begin to work back in. Most of this is going to stay north of I-90, but we'll see rain and eventually turning to a little bit of light snow for areas north of I-90, especially going into the afternoon hours too. You can see Eau Claire, areas up there. We'll see more of a snow going into Wednesday evening. Light accumulations with this potential, but notice how sharp cutoff to it. If you're south of this area, you're likely just to see clouds. If you're further south towards like Crawford County and those areas, you might see a lot of sun all day. Winds will be a factor all day. This will eventually wrap up. Overnight lows tonight, fairly still mild in the 40s. Tomorrow, not much change with temperatures as you go further north. Further south, we still might be able to reach 50, especially south of I-90, where you won't have the cloud cover, but you'll have the wind too. And keep in mind, this wind gust could be potentially pretty strong. There's a wind advisory for those areas that could be gusting to 45, along with a little bit of an elevated fire risk there due to the dry conditions too going on. Otherwise, we have to keep note going into Wednesday night into Thursday, Friday morning. That is when we could see accumulating snow. We'll have to keep an eye on Thursday night into Friday for some travel issues. Otherwise, cold weekend, and then we do get back to seasonal next week. So quite a wild swing, but yeah, it's going to be back to winter.
All right. Well, a little pinballing on the 8th.
You know, it's getting to the end of February, so you still got the flip around in March too. So
That's
true. It's coming.
Thanks.